So now that we have understand what is design and analysis of algorithm, what does it mean? We'll now dig deeper into those section one by one. So first we'll get to know about analysis of algorithm, and then we'll see the design techniques for algorithms. Okay. So why should we learn the analysis of algorithm part? So the analysis of algorithm will enable you to determine whether an algorithm is correct or not. So it is the responsibility of a designer to prove that the algorithm that he has designed is basically correct. It is giving the expected output in all the cases whenever executed. Okay, so to determine whether an algorithm is correct, we need to analyze the algorithm. Okay, and then if you have a scenario where you have more than one algorithms for a problem, and you obviously try to choose the efficient algorithm, right? So, or the optimal algorithm that is solving the problem in optimal time or optimal memory requirement. So if you try to find out which one is an efficient algorithm out of the all available algorithms of the problem, you obviously have to analyze those algorithms to find out the efficiency of the algorithm. Okay, so to decide which algorithm is efficient or optimal for a given problem, you obviously have to analyze the algorithm. And to determine the quantitative behavior of an algorithm, quantitative behavior include the time requirement or time complexity, space requirement or space complexity, and all kind of stuff. Okay, so this is why one should study analysis of algorithm. So before we analyze an algorithm, we have to understand that whenever we are designing an algorithm, whenever we have developed an algorithm, that algorithm is going to be executed on a machine, right? So there can be different architecture of machines, right? So the same algorithm can behave differently in different architecture, right? So that's why we have to specify under which architecture or under which model we are basically considering this analysis. So for that, for this designing analysis part, we are going to follow the RAM model, okay, or random access machine model. So in this model, the instructions in an algorithm are going to be executed sequentially, one by one. Okay, and there will be no concurrent operations. Means no parallel execution, multi-threading kind of stuffs will not be there. Whenever you are given an algorithm in a RAM model, so it will execute the first instruction, then the second instruction, then the third instruction, like that, one by one, sequentially. It is not the case that it will execute the first instruction, then the eighth instruction, then the fifth instruction haphazardly. Not like that. Okay, until there is a branching statement. Even branching statements also you can tell it a sequential statement, but I will not go into that. So no concurrent operations will be there, and this RAM model basically employs very basic or commonly found instruction which are used in real computers, right? And these instructions include the arithmetic instructions like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, finding the remainder, floor, ceiling, etc. We will have the data movement operations like load, store, copy. Means load, store, copy. Probably you do not have the class of microprocessor. You do not have this course of microprocessor in your curriculum. But if you had, you would understand this, what this load, store, copy means. This load, store, copy means loading the data from memory to register within the processor, or from register to memory within the computer, like that. So these data movement operations, simple data movement operations will be there. So these operations are generally take place when you do the instruction like a equals to b, right? So then the content of b will be stored in a, right? So this is the data movement operations. Okay, and next we have the commonly used control instruction like the branching, if then else, or switch cases, subroutines, mean functions, and return. So all these basic instructions are used in this RAM model. Okay. So now these instructions or any instruction takes constant amount of time whenever executed. So suppose if you are doing an addition of two numbers and it takes 2 milliseconds when when you have executed it for one time. Now for any time whenever you execute, it will always take 2 milliseconds. Okay. So an instruction will take constant amount of time whenever executed. It is not that it is taking 2 milliseconds now to perform the addition, and at some point of time it will take 5 milliseconds, not like that. So a instruction or a single instruction will always take the constant amount of time whenever it will be executed. And loops and subroutines are not simple operations. You probably know that they are called complex instructions. Sorry, compound instructions. Okay, so they are composed of many single step operations. Okay, so you can obviously understand that whenever you have a loop, within loop you have many instructions, right? So those small instructions construct a full loop. So a single loop is not a simple operation, rather they are composed of many single step operations. Now the next thing is no memory hierarchy. By this time probably you have done the course of computer organization, and you probably have the idea of what the memory hierarchy is, right? In the computer that we use, there are memory hierarchy, like in processor we have register memory, which is very faster and comparable to the speed of the processor. Next we have the cache memory, right, which is a bit slower than register but much faster than the primary memory or RAM. Next we have the primary memory, RAM, which is basically the computer's RAM, so which is slower than the cache memory. And after that we have the secondary storage, right? So this is the hierarchy, memory hierarchy. Now if you try to see, whenever you try to access a data, so if the data is available in register, that will take almost no time, or that will take very the least amount of time. If it is in cache memory, then also it will take very less amount of time, but greater than the time it take for if the data is in register. Okay, now if the data is in primary memory or RAM, it will take much larger time, like that in the real world computer, right? But in RAM model there is no memory hierarchy. Okay, so every single memory access will take exactly one time steps. Means if you try to access a memory in a RAM machine, what will happen? It will take the same amount of time for each memory access operation. So if it takes 5 milliseconds to access a memory, when whatever memory operation you do, it will always take 5 milliseconds. Okay, because there is no memory hierarchy. And even if it doesn't have any memory hierarchy, still this RAM model is an excellent predictor for the performance of real computer nowadays. So that's why we will focus on the RAM model, or that's why whenever we are going to analyze the algorithm, we'll keep in mind these properties of RAM model, that when we are analyzing this a algorithm, the instruction are going to be executed in this way, sequentially, no concurrency, all the instruction are very basics, and no memory, I mean no time difference for memory accesses, and all those things we have to keep in mind during analysis. There are other model of computations also available, like PRAM or parallel RAM, mesh, hypercube, Turing machine model, but this machine model is not in the scope, and the analysis we are going to do going forward in our course will not require these models. Okay, so with this we have just touched upon the analysis of algorithm part. On the next lecture we are going to start about the correctness analysis. Okay, and then we'll get into the efficiency analysis or performance analysis. So see you in the next lecture.